boyfriend for my last words.
I talked to him on the phone once.
All right. Did you know that Muhammad raped a child? Did you know that Muhammad raped a child? Were you aware of that?
Yeah, did you know that?
Look,
that child had hair as well, Ludwig?
Muhammad raped children. That's kind of weird that he did that.
You came out as the strongest sperm cell.
Amazing.
Anyways,
child rapist. That's kind of weird.
Hold on, Sam, because I get.
Like, hey guys, I'm getting really sick of this. Hold on, guys. I'm getting really, guys. I'm getting really sick of this. You know, the jabs back and forth, because we were like at least having a conversation before. I mean, you guys know I can talk shit. I just I'm trying not to do that. Go ahead.
I'd love to have the conversation, but like Ludwig loves to.
No. Let's. Ludwig, he can't do that anymore. No, so nobody. Go ahead. I think Sam, were you trying to?
Sam was talking about Sudan, so I want to rewind back to that, and this really annoys me because, especially from the pro-Israeli side, and Sam, I love you, by the way. Thank you for giving money to that little black baby in Sudan because I answered your questions, but they don't care about Sudan. They just use this as a tactic to divert from the conversation being on Israel. And if you want to talk about Sudan, we can talk about who gives the RSF weapons, which is the UAE, which is a partner with Israel in the Abraham Accords. And the UAE also receives weapons from Israel. So Israel is directly complicit in the genocide in Sudan. And we can talk about that if you want.
Well, I'll have to look that up. I'm not familiar. Israel backing up any of that. So I will have to do my research.
Yeah, just Google.
But I don't know that are they doing it necessarily to deflect, or I do think there is a level of hypocrisy where I do think people do, they do have a problem with Israel to begin with, whether it's because they're just, because they happen to be Muslim and have a very strong opinion about Israel. Or maybe there's white people that just hate Jews, for example. There's some of those people. Then you have like leftists who kind of hate them because the same reason they bitch about, our country. But I do think, there's some hypocrisy there. Don't you think? Like,
yeah.
Was America any better for what we did in Iraq?
Pepe, are you a right-wing populist or you're like right-wing imperialist?
I wouldn't really identify as either.
You don't identify with the populist movement where the new right wing is like anti-war and we don't want to get dragged into more wars. That is a repercussion of looking back on the things we did and recognizing that it's wrong.
But that was even like a paleo-conservative view, and as well as like a libertarian right view. And yeah, I don't really care for the wars for other reasons, because I think they're a waste of money and they don't really do anything.
Why do we keep comparing it to what we did in Iraq when we
think it's
know
a
that
waste of money?
For the taxpayer, yeah.
Yeah, you think they actually give a flying F about the average American citizen and the taxes that they have to pay? Do you know how? The government. You think they truly care? It's like, let's not go to war because, like the inflation, it might affect the pay cereals in the morning. Like, no, they don't give two fucks about that.
People have to get reelected, so they have to kind of care about that.
They don't care, bro. In the 200, almost 50 years of the existence of the United Snakes of Gay, you guys have been at war for I think it's 30 years off or something, like 220 years, whatever it is. Like it's the predominant reason why you guys make so much money.
We get it. You hate America. I don't hate America. It's fine. Yeah, you do. You hate America.
No, I don't.
You fucking hate everything about it.
You hate women. That's why you're gay. But what I was saying, this is how America makes money.
I have a wife that you have a crush on, so that's the reality.
Nobody has a wife.
No, Ludwig, you hate America. Okay. That's the problem that you're facing right now. But I think that Pepe is trying to make a different point. Okay?
Grab a lubricant. You're running out.
Well, is trying to make is the fact that America has a different set of principles. Like, you live in Holland, okay? You live in a different country than America.
No
right?
shit, Charles.
Your worldview is very different to Pepe's point of view.
How so?
I mean, for example, you guys, I don't know, live with your parents until death, apparently.
Yeah, I love my
that's just like a
parents.
personal
sorry,
perspective.
sorry, your parents ditched you. I love my parents.
No, but
But
then
let's make up
also-
something else. Go ahead.
also,
make something else.
like you live in Europe, which is dealing with like a rape crisis right now, which you probably shouldn't be very proud about. Whereas
Let's talk
US,
about Israel. How the sex offenders are.
No,
not
you're
being,
obsessed with Israel. Don't worry about
deported back to the
Israel.
United States. Let's talk
Don't
about
worry about
Israel.
Israel.
About sex offenders, right? And
The
rape.
point that I'm making,
Wait, you were making a point.
This message from FuseNet, the Feminine Early Warning System network from the US, nobody mentions it. They all mention the UN agency IPC, and then they say that Israel says that UN report is biased, UN report cannot be accepted. So they will write these two things, but they will never write or publicize what the US agency on starvation and famine says about it, which says the same thing. And I've shared a link. I've shared that article over there in the chat for anybody who wants to read.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I think the other things you come across is they always deny that there's nobody's starving in Gaza, right? And this is a very known tactic from Zionists, and there's a lot of Zionist talking points from even in relate to genocide. They'll deny the genocide, and they'll even deny the apartheid. Have you been to the West Bank area when you went to Jerusalem? You've been to the West Bank, right?
No, I did not go because my husband didn't want to go, so we didn't go.
Okay. So if you were to go to the West Bank, we have Brother Jindip here. He lives in the West Bank. There's about 920 checkpoints in the West Bank. And so let's say if they want to and these checkpoints are the only people that get stopped at the checkpoints is the Palestinians. The Israelis, the settlers, they don't get stopped at all. Because of the Israeli license plate, they have Israeli identity, and so it's two sets of laws, for two groups of people. One, you got the Palestinians, the other ones are the Israelis. And that's where it kind of gets, so let's say if somebody wants to travel to a wedding 40 kilometers away, 50 kilometers away, right? In America, I'm in California, by the way. Here, 40 kilometers, meaning about 20, 30 miles, it only takes me about 30 to 40 minutes. But over there in the West Bank, they would have to leave at least 4 or 5 hours before, because at the checkpoint, you never know. They'll stop you minimum for an hour, up to 4 hours. And there's multiple checkpoints. And they even have checkpoints on flying chopper. You see what I'm saying? And it's crazy. And there's a lot of organizations out there where it makes it apartheid. It gives you evidence. Why is it apartheid? Because there's two sets of laws. So I'll give you one example. Let's say a Palestinian in the West Bank gets attacked by a settler. All right. Now, who should he call? He or she? They will try to call the Palestinian Authority, right? And they'll be like, nope, we can't come. We can't deal with them, right? And if they call the, IDF comes around, protects the freaking crazy psychopath terrorist settler that's, committing crimes, that's pretty much raping the shit out of a Palestinian. Palestinian resists. He gets arrested. He gets locked up in Israeli prison and under administrative detention without due process. And this is the big problem for the Palestinians in the West Bank. And every time they release about 100 or maybe 50 Palestinians, they'll go in there and arrest about 500 of them. without due process. And some of these there's some of them are kids, even just for throwing a rock at IDF truck. They'll pick them up, arrest them, and it will get renewed every 6 to 9 months, and sometimes they can be in there for about 2 years, 5 years, 6 years. The longest one I think I've seen was about 9 years without under administrative detention, without due process. And I was in a shock, But I think Leila is a Palestinian. She wants to add something really quick. And if you have any more questions, Ariel, you're welcome to ask us any questions, Or if you hear any arguments from the Zionist room, you're welcome to come in and say.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I was going to add was that, so where I live in Gaza, it should only take you maximum about like 40 minutes, right? Like technically based off of the distance to get to Al-Quds, which is Jerusalem. Okay. And unfortunately, due to the amount of checkpoints that are there, and story by a lot of my family members tried to go to Jerusalem for pilgrimage or like to see, our mosque and our holy sites and stuff like that. And a lot of our family members from Gaza would travel, and what should have taken them maximum anywhere between an hour, to 40 minutes, ended up taking them about 4 to 5 hours. Some people actually had to stay at checkpoints overnight in a little cell. Very, very similar to what you see in the United States with the ICE detention centers. And even after all of that, you could still be denied leaving Gaza. You could still be denied, entry into Jerusalem after going through all of that. And when Amir talked about how there are people who are held without due process, who are held under administrative detention. That's the word. I actually have a cousin within my family who is right now being held under administrative detention. And he's been in administrative detention since he was 12. So the fact that children are getting detained, and you know what he did? He threw a rock at a tank, okay? That's why he's being held under administrative detention. And he's been there for about, I would say, like 4 years now, and he hasn't come out. So, mashallah, he should have been graduating, college. He should have been applying to universities. He really liked playing soccer. He should have, been playing soccer, but he spent some of the best years of his youth under administrative detention, all for throwing a rock at a tank.
Sorry to hear my sister. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. 1 second, Rondo. So I'm about to put the link in the chat. Hang on. So when you go into Zionist rooms next time, just ask them, why is Netanyahu funded Hamas? Right? Here's one. This is a Hamas one. I'm going to give you another article from their own source, and this one's from Times of Israel. Ariel, this is a Jewish Israeli source that says the Hamas blew up in their face. I'll give you another article where Netanyahu is giving weapons to ISIS, Islamic State, that's stealing the aid for more than a year, and that sells it in black market, for triple the price or like 5 times the price. And then they kept on blaming Hamas for stealing the aid, blah blah blah. And, they would do this all the freaking time, and then they'll go in there and try to go after. And all this stealing was happening under the IDF. Under the IDF supervision. I'll put another article. If you can bookmark it, save it. And this is Times of Israel. I'm going to provide another article from Times of Israel about the ISIS thing. Go on.
I just wanted to say to the sister, I'm very sorry, but your brother, he doesn't deserve it, and I hope he can come out soon. SubhanAllah. These people, bro. I was gonna ask you, sister, by the way, how old was your brother when he got arrested?
So, it's my cousin. My brother, I have 3 older brothers, and inshallah, they have their own experiences with the IDF. We're American, so we get a little bit of a leeway, if you could say. Of course, by face, by language. Of course, by face, by language. When we go to Palestine, we appear like we're Arab and whatnot. But so like the IDF, like when they interact with us, they see, okay, like, you know, like they're Arab, they're Palestinian, but then we whip out the American passport and they're like, oh, like, you know, they start apologizing and stuff. But the person that I was talking about is my cousin, and he was about, I think, 12 and a half, closer to 13. If I remember correctly, it was about a week before his 13th birthday. And the reason why I remember that is because you know, like we were, like, I remember talking to him, you know, a day or two. He's like, I'm like a little bit old. I'm like his big sister, right? So like I'm a little bit older than him. I remember talking about him like, oh, what do you want from America and stuff like that. And that's like the last conversation that I had with him. I was one of the last people to talk to him, and I haven't been able to speak to him for the past 4 years.
SubhanAllah, that's so evil, bro. It's a 15-year-old child. It's crazy. I even have like a space. Wow, if you're in the 12 and a half, I think my brother's stage is crazy. SubhanAllah. Yeah. It's so evil, sister. Amir, think about it, brother. I don't even think in America you can arrest a person at the age of 12.
I hear you, Rondo. So, Ariel, I put 2 links in the chat, ISIS and Hamas. And the third one I posted is for Rolo down in the audience. He says, Muslims are the problem. Muslims are the Islamists is the problem. Apparently, I don't know if he's aware of it, you know, from his Jewish scholars and rabbis, majority of them agreed to this, that thanks to the Muslims in Jerusalem, they were brought back to Jerusalem. Otherwise, you know, no offense to anybody that's from Christian faith, the Christians, they wanted to kick them out. They do not like they did not like the Jews. But when Muslim, you know, conquered the land, they took over. You know, they brought the Jews back into the land. And by the way, Caliphate was Islamist. By the way, Rolo, I don't know if you know about this. You should be respecting, you know, the Caliphate. You should respect all the Muslims instead of talking smack about it, instead of talking shit about Muslims in your rooms, in here, or in real life. You know, and learn it from your daughter. Your daughter's pro-Pali. She's raising funds for the pro-Pali protest. I don't know where you get your facts from. You're just a dumbass. You know, and what else can I call you? A kangaroo fucker. That's it. That's all I can tell you from Australia.
Laila, are you there, Laila? Hey, Laila, are you there?
Amir, are you okay? You okay?
I'm okay. Kangaroo fucker. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, look, I get how you get.
Islamist is a problem. Islamist. Did you read the rabbi? Did you listen to the rabbi?
I wanted to be able to ask you something, have a conversation with you.
Ask. Okay, go on.
Are you okay? Look, nothing that I said is non-factual. The fact is that 90% of terrorist organizations that have been designated by countries just happen to be Islamist. I don't know why you're getting
Same talking point. Bring me something new to the table. We debunked your claim last time.
How's your daughter doing, Rule?
You never talk about that Hamas is.
She's so supportive.
Hamas was funded by Netanyahu. ISIS is funded by Netanyahu. What do you want me to do? I gave you data in the chat.
An Islamist terrorist.
Your daughter is an Islamist.
He's like
what's an Islamist?
What about the Houthis? All the IRGC, all Islamist terrorist organizations.
What is Islamist?
Does your daughter support Islamists?
And rape
your daughter
and pillage and to be able to conquer. This is what they do.
So Rohan, hang on. One question to you.
You want to talk about these things? You're going to be.
Yes, I want to talk to you. But I want to ask you one question, Rohan.
Accused me of saying lies.
Okay, can I ask you one question, Rohan? I'll ask you one question. Were the Jews kicked out of Jerusalem?
About what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Were the Jews kicked out of Jerusalem?
There's no script.
Were the Jews kicked out of Jerusalem?
Hajj, do you remember?
By the Christians. Were the Jews kicked out of by the Christians in Jerusalem?
Hajj Husseini, who is the head of the Mufti of Jerusalem, of Hitler. Right.
Okay, Lehi, a Jewish militia gang in 1940 to 41, worked with Hitler. You had the Havana Transfer Agreement in 1933, did it with Hitler. No. We're going before the Hajim and Husseini. We're going based on Lehi Jewish militia gang.
He worked with Hitler.
They were working with Hitler. They approached the Hitler.
Got it.
Wow.
So you wonder why there's.
Are you going to acknowledge the Leahy Jewish militia gang approach to Hitler in 1940? Are you going to acknowledge that?
I'm really excited about this.
Look. I don't mind acknowledging.
You support? Do you support Islamism?
Do you support the terrorist attacks?
You support
Yes, do you support? Hold on. Do you support the terrorist attacks? Terrorist attacks. The Jewish rabbi supports it. I put the link in the chat. If the rabbi supports it, I stand with the Jewish rabbi.
You can't say. You can't say.
I stand with the rabbi. I stand with the rabbi. The rabbi. Hold on. Rabbi supports it. I put the link in the chat.
I got it.
Just say it. Say it.
You support. You're getting very triggered up here. Okay. I asked you whether you support Islamism. You couldn't give me a straight answer. Okay. So you support it. You support Islamism, and that's okay. You can say.
What is Islamism? What is Islamism? Can you elaborate?
Islamism 3 times fast, please.
Wow. Okay. What is it? Well, I don't know. I mean, you know so much about Israel, about condemning Israel, about the history of the region, which you make up a lot about, which is really interesting. But you've got no idea about.
Rolo, bro, you're actually a bot, bro. I swear to God, you're literally a bot, bro.
By the way, sorry, I've got to go. I've got a life.
Do you finger?
Run away, Rolo. Run away.
Do you finger your mom? Do you finger your mom, bro?
You want to do a drive-by. Run away.
Read the script and leave. Read the script.
Yeah, run away. He just did a drive-by on us.
Disgusting.
Can I speak, guys? Can I speak?
Yes, brother.
No, one thing, Fayez, can I just make one point real quick, then you can speak? One sentence. We, as Muslims on this app or just in general in real life, please let's stay away from the word Islamist. It's a made-up term. It makes no goddamn sense. That's some shit that we have to stay away from. We can't normalize that word. It makes no sense. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mazi. Hello, Rohan. How are you? It's been a long time since this toilet cleaner spoke to you. Remember me, Rohan? Are you there? Okay, he's not. Or maybe he doesn't want to engage with the toilet cleaner. Doesn't matter, it's okay. The thing is, this they keep talking about this, the Jerusalem high priest Al-Amini meeting Hitler. You know what? He met Hitler. I went and researched Holocaust Encyclopedia and Yad Vashem. Yad Vashem is the details that are kept in Jerusalem, in Israel, in the Israeli museum. And both say that Al-Husseini did not meet Hitler to target or to incite him to kill Jews. First of all, the Holocaust started in the early 1930s. Al-Husseini met Hitler in 1941. And why did Al-Husseini meet Hitler? Because at that point in time, Hitler was a very powerful world leader. Okay. And the Zionists were already making deals with Hitler because the Zionists were not getting from the British whatever they wanted. So what they would do is go to Hitler and get him to support their cause. And thereby, weaken the position, weaken the hold of the British on Palestine. This is what they did. In fact, some of them went to the extent of making deals with Hitler, overlooking the Holocaust, the mass killing of Jews that was going on. In fact, there was a Hungarian Jew who made a deal with Hitler, and during the course of the negotiation, it came to knowledge. It was brought to it came to his knowledge that Hitler was planning to murder 1 million Hungarian Jews. Okay, in fact, incidentally, the biggest Jewish population in Europe that was gassed to death was Hungarian, one of the biggest. Okay, and this guy, his name is Rudolf Katz. He went on to negotiate with Hitler when the matter of 1 million Jews going to be killed in Hungary came. He did not take it up. He did not bring it back and alerted the world. He did not do anything. All he did was, look, this is a list of 1,600 Hungarian Jews that I want you to release. Let them escape. We will also pay you a lot of money. And he paid them because he was a very rich Swiss-Hungarian
some people were to be driving across the border in Tijuana and there's like a dead mangled girl in the back of the truck, everybody would be like, oh, Most Deals, oh my God. You know, they'd be like, you know, like how horrible.